Um,
Thanks, Kyle. Hey, Sam, if you could, maybe just some opening comments. I think Alabama got 8 sacks, and then the punt return touchdown that kind of sparked them. Your thoughts on that?
Well, early in the game, I felt like we had enough time to throw the football. Evidently, we weren't seeing the receivers or they weren't getting open. And on a punt return, we kicked it to the middle of the field, and we gave him both directions to go to. We were trying to pin him on the sideline, and the ball went to the middle of the field, and nobody touched him. So, that along with the fumble down on the 6-yard line, it kind of, we were 3-3, and it was momentum change for us. Our defense, I thought, had played pretty well, and we're playing hard out there, but, we give them the ball on the 6 and they score on punts. So, we turn the ball over. We just, and Alabama got the ball. I mean, not that we just dropped it. They hit us and knocked the ball out. But some of the things that happened today, we really were uncharacteristic of our team, and they capitalized on it.
Scotty.
Yeah, Coach Tom mentioned the 8 sacks. Just how overwhelming was that Alabama pass rush at times for you guys?
Say again.
Just how
again, but I don't know what else you said.
Yeah, just how overwhelming was that pass rush at times for your line to hold up against?
That looked pretty overwhelming to me. I mean, they got 8 sacks, so we were having trouble with the line games. They were running back behind the center. We were having trouble picking them up. I've had trouble picking them up when I was at Georgia with arguably the best line in football. We have to, and I thought we stayed in third and manageable pretty good, in the first half, but we couldn't convert. And we have to figure out how to move the pocket, because we can't. Nobody can just sit back there against Alabama, and we thought we could hit some little quicker throws, and evidently they weren't open. I had to watch the film to figure out why we were holding the ball.
Hutch.
Sam, when KJ came in on the third series, was that by design to try to get him in the game, or was Franks banged up on that drive?
No, Felipe had gotten hurt. He had gotten hit. And so we were trying to let him catch his bearings a little bit over there and bring KJ in.
Sam, I know you guys, or you've talked about, you feel like this team deserves a bowl game. Just how do you feel, now that the regular season's over, but moving forward? And do you feel good you guys will get a bowl bid and that the players will want to play in a bowl game?
Well, I wouldn't have any idea why the players wouldn't want to play. I mean, one game doesn't define the season. I mean, we got our butt kicked bad today, but that's the only game that we did. And in a regular season, when you beat 3 SEC teams, you usually have 3 or 4 wins in a non-conference game, and that's 6 or 7 wins, and you go to a bowl game. I want to, because I want to practice with this team. I want to have a few days with the younger kids. Teams that don't go to bowl games, they lose about 15. They lose a spring ball on everybody that does. And obviously, if we don't think practice is important, then we wouldn't want to go to a bowl game. But we do, and we want to.
Trey Biddy.
Yeah, Coach, when KJ came in for Felipe the second time for the longer time after the fumble, was that just trying to mix things up, or was that by design, or what was the reasoning behind going with the change?
Well, no, to be honest with you, Trey, we didn't know if Felipe, how healthy he was. And so at that point, the game was, I think, 38-3 or whatever at that point. And we're sitting there going, well, let's KJ played well last week. Let's get him in there, see if he can help us, see if his feet can help us a little bit. And, because we weren't able to protect, maybe we could have some quarterback runs and things of that nature in there. And then when he got hurt, we went and asked Felipe if he could finish the game, and he said he certainly could. So that was the only thinking behind it.
Baz.
Hey, Coach, for the second week in a row, you guys have struggled with penalties. I think you had 11 last week, and of the 8 you had today, 7 were in the first half and seemed to be all sides or motion or whatever. Talk about your frustration with those penalties, especially being in week 10.
Well, yeah, I'm frustrated that we had legal motion on the offensive line. We had a new center in there today. We only had 3 days or 2 practices, I guess, to get that solidified. So we didn't have that problem in practice, so I don't know if it was, I don't know why it happened. One of them, Burks fell down, in motion, and the timing of it was longer. And so I guess they couldn't hold in there, but yeah, it's frustrating. We hadn't done it earlier. We hadn't been a huge penalized team, but we've got to look into it and fix it.
Nikki.
Coach, was playing Malik Hornsby on the table throughout the game when the guys got hurt, or just kind of waiting for him to get some more experience under his belt?
No, that really wasn't a thought. Nikki, during regular season, the regular week, we will always have a package for him. Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. Not often have we, but no, we really, that was not in conversation between Kendall and myself. It would have been if Felipe wouldn't have been able to go back in.
Trey Schapp.
Coach, is your message to the recruits that you have committed right now that, hey, we need you to come in and fight for some playing time and try and help improve what you've already started in this season?
I think that's probably the message that you give to every single class, and no matter where you're at, because if you don't give them hope that they have a possibility to play, then you're probably not recruiting them as high as they want to be, but we certainly need guys to come in here and help us. We have to get bigger, we've lost 2 kids in practice to concussions and things of that nature that, been unfortunate. But our depth, from COVID and from injuries and things of that nature, our depth is, guys, y'all don't have any idea what going through COVID and opt-out and injuries are about. I mean, none. I mean, you basically put your team together on Friday because the test comes back on Thursday. And so there's a lot that goes into all that stuff. And so I think we'll have a deeper team. Hopefully if the vaccine gets out and things, and our depth will be better and kids aren't, afraid of the virus. And, at that point, the opting out would be a thing of the past. And I think our depth's probably better than it looks, simply because of the virus and of opting out. So, but we do need some young kids to come in here and help us, obviously. And we feel like we've got a good class.
Hey, Sam, if I've got a couple things, what's the prognosis on KJ on the knee? And second, Bishop got time at cornerback, and what'd you think of his effort today?
Tom, obviously he's one of the fastest guys on our team. So, we want to move him out there. I'm not positive how he played. I'd have to look at the I know he played hard. He came running by me a couple times, made some good hits. I know he played awful hard. I'm sorry, I forgot your first question.
It was about KJ and his knee.
Oh, KJ, I just was in the locker room. I don't know exactly. Something to do with his knee, but I don't know how bad it is or if it's not at all. I don't know. There's something there, whether it be some type of strain or not. I'm not positive. We'll get that. He's going to get an MRI and we'll figure it out.
Coach.
I was going to ask about Bishop, but y'all as a defense didn't give up too many big plays in the passing game. How did you think about, not only Bishop, but also Monteric on the other side?
Yeah, we didn't give up a whole lot of, a whole lot of big plays. I think we'd give up one at halftime. And of course, the very, very disappointing play at the end where they went 80 on just a simple handoff. But Bishop about ran him down on that play. But, they were just trying to get out of the game and the guy breaks it. And, to answer your question, I didn't feel like they got behind us. All their throws were underneath and basically crossing routes, receiver crossing from one side of the formation to the other. And we obviously didn't get enough rush. We've got to address that, pass rushers and things of that, but we didn't get enough rush. And the guy sat back there for quite a long time with that route. It takes a long time on protections, and that's the one that really hurt us.
Sam, Alabama's been doing this to everybody pretty much all year. How do they look to you compared to other number one Alabama teams? Look like you and Nick Saban spent a little more time at the end of the game talking than a lot of time coaches do. I just wonder if maybe you could share what he might have said to you.
No, I don't want to, but it was kind. It was nice. I said some things to him in the same way. But on tape, it's the best Alabama team I'd seen, and he's going to hate me for saying that because I think he calls that rat poison. But that's how I believe. I believe that they've got that's the best squad I've seen. They're hard to stop, and when you give them points, and they're even harder to stop. But to be honest with you guys, in the second half, they're just trying to go home. They were running the football, and they weren't taking long shots on us much and things of that nature. They were trying to run the football, run the clock out, and get to the championship game. You could feel that, and but our kids did a good job of stopping them several times in the second half.
Baz.
Hey, Coach, this may or may not be the last game for the seniors. Obviously with the rule change for seniors coming back, but the senior group has been through some tough times here at Arkansas. Just talk about them and what they've meant to your first year here.
Well, the ones that stayed with us are as valuable as you can possibly get, David. It could have been easy with all the situations. Not easy, but you had a long season starting in basically June this year, and then you had the COVID, and you had the opt out, and you had the quarantine, you had all this stuff, and they just stayed with us, and they hadn't had much, success in the past, and that tells a lot about their character and about their want to, and these guys basically help start turning the program here at Arkansas. We're not near where we need to be, where we want to be, any of those things. But they helped us. We won 3 SEC games, and we hadn't done that in 3 years past. I think we'd won 1 or something. I don't know. So they had started that, and they should be really proud of that. And I told them, you can't let this game define our season. I had a lot of long faces in there today, and we got beat by a good team, but I was proud of the seniors that stayed with us, that fought their butt off for us, and it's been a very, very fun group of guys to coach.
Hey, Biddy.
Coach, what's things look like after this game? What's next week look like for you guys?
Yeah, we're setting Trey. We have finals. Most of the fellows are done by by Wednesday, and so we're going to practice on Thursday and Friday. I'm not positive about Saturday yet, but probably just Thursday and Friday, and then we'll practice 3 times the next week. We'll probably get in 9, possibly 10 practices before the bowl, obviously depending on which bowl we get, whether it's the 31st or the 30th or wherever that is. But I'm going to give them not off, but academically, we're making a huge push academically, even as fast as tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to kind of not practice on signing date, try to wrap up the kids that we're trying to sign on Wednesday.
I'll wrap us up. Thanks, Coach.